up to questions. Please wait for the microphone to ask your question. Coach, whenever you're ready.
All right. Man, I'm going to tell you what, our fans showed up tonight, or today, I should say. They showed up and showed out, and they were a huge factor in the game. We're thankful for that. You know, good SEC football game out there today. You know, I think it came down to the things it typically does. You know, we rushed the ball for 159 yards to their 53. The turnover margin was 2-2. DJ was 180 quarterback rating. Played really clean for the most part. We got off the field 3 out of 11, and we stayed on the field 7 out of 14. And blocked the punt. Taylor Spirito, who was a walk-on in year one here, who's earned a scholarship, was a spark tonight and made a huge play. And how about that freshman receiver, Dallas Wilson, going off and setting about every record that there is for a rookie. So, in general, we had 4 sacks. I thought we limited the run game. We affected the quarterback, covered them pretty good. That's a good team. You know, they got a lot of resources in Texas, and they put together one heck of a football team. And I would say for me, that's the football team I thought we had in the very beginning. And we finally kind of put it together there and played all 3 phases. Very complimentary. I mean, all parts of the team really good. We started fast. That was a huge emphasis in the game. Got the crowd into it. And, man, you got to give these kids some credit. You know, I think nowadays in college athletics, maybe there's a little bit of a black eye about the sport, what it can teach, what locker rooms are like. And I can only speak for ours. I'm not giving up on team, and that's a football team. And I'm humbled to be a part of it. And for them to do what they've done over the last couple of weeks, I think is to be commended in today's world, right? They didn't blame anybody else. They took ownership, and they went back to work. And it's been a challenge. You know, you guys know because you write about it every day. But, you know, we handled some adversity. This is just the beginning here. We got a lot more games just like that when it gets really good teams in the future. So we've handled adversity. Now can we handle a little bit of success? I think that'll be really important. So in general, I'm extremely proud of the staff and the players for the way they held together and the work that was done in the open date. A DJ battled through the injury today. You know, he had a little bit of a leg injury that we'll know more about. But in general, I thought he was kind of back in that mode that he was in at the end of the year last year where he was playing immobile and for the most part was a great leader, a great teammate, and was very effective today. Go Gators. What questions we got here?
I mean, not only DJ's best game of the season, arguably of his career, even with that injury. Is this a reflection of what you saw in the bye week, or just what do you take from this performance from him?
Well, I think he's a great teammate, and I think what motivates him is doing his job for his guys. You know, that's one of the things these guys kept saying, my guys, right? And I think, you know, let's take our guys and go beat him and his guys, if that makes sense. And I think ultimately that's when he's at his best, you know, when that's consuming him and he's grinding throughout the week and he's studying the opponent. He's taking care of himself. He's working in practice. He flips that switch and kind of gets into that competitive spirit in practice. And I think we kind of saw it Wednesday of this week. I would say it was the first time I kind of saw he can kind of get in that place, you know, as a competitor. I kind of saw that, and you kind of saw it out there tonight. So, in general, I think he's a great teammate and one that he wants to be loyal, wants to come through for his guys. And I think ultimately that's what showed up out there today.
And you mentioned handling adversity in the past, handling success in the future. But just today, like, how relieving is this for you and this team in there after what's been endured the last month?
Yeah, I think the challenge will be how we handle this. You know, I think it's going to be extremely important that you got to wake up in the morning and wash all this off. You know, same people that talk bad about you are going to be talking good about you, and can you handle that? Right? I think that's the challenge in sport is to be consistent, to be process oriented, to be motivated by the right things. and not have a letdown going forward. So, look, that's a really good team, but just start looking ahead here. Every team is going to be a challenge. And I think football at this level is turning into that. You got to be ready to play every week.
Billy, you alluded to Dallas Wilson, long-awaited debut. He lived up to it. But the 55-yard touchdown in particular, did that just kind of encapsulate his skill set? And he catches the ball, tight ropes, runs over guys.
Yeah. He is he's a big physical player. He's got unique play strength, big frame. Just a total creature from a testing perspective. And then he has a competitive spirit that's second to none. I mean, he turns it up. And I'm going to tell you, his energy, I think, was a spark this week. In practice, I mean, he was just doing what he did out there today and really elevated. The energy went to a different level. And he's got a great spirit about him. He's fun to be around. He's got a sense of humor. And, yeah, he's a great competitor on game day. That's his first game in a uniform here.
And that just kind of physicality on that play. I mean, the team in general, what did you feel about just the physicality from the opening drive where you guys went 84 yards, the defense right out of the gates, Tyreek with a tackle for a loss, and you guys were all over Manning all day?
Yeah, no, I think that's who we have to be to win here. If you're going to win in this league, you got to be built in the trenches to go toe-to-toe. And we've been doing that on defense to some degree. I thought we did it consistently today. To hold them to 2 yards of rush, and I think we rushed the ball 37 times, and I don't think DJ ran it, right? So no quarterback involved there. So, yeah, that's the recipe that it's happened. It's worked for us in the past. We played to that formula today, and it worked for us. Our teams look like that when they're playing at their highest level. 8 years as a head coach. That's complimentary ball. That's what it should look like.
Billy, you alluded earlier in the week to starting fast and staying on schedule, and you were able to do that in that first touchdown drive. What did that do, you think, confidence-wise for the offense for the remainder of the game?
Yeah, and a good mix. I thought DJ did a nice job in that possession did a great job on third down. I think we were 50% on third down, way over that going into the 4-minute situations where we got stopped a couple times. Yeah, I think that getting 2 off to a good start, knowing they would feed off of him, getting 6 involved early, and then being able to rush the ball. 13 has got to be there's got to be a presence there with him. I thought Duke Clark stepped up in a major way today. I thought he was very effective for a rookie to be out there playing in that type of game. And look, in the kicking game, man, when you play Banks at Texas, it's toe-to-toe. It's real football. And I thought Joe Houston and his staff did a great job today. We blocked the punt. And certainly the specialists can be better at times, but overall the plan was really good. The specialist play needs to improve a little bit.
Coach, what's been the attitude of the defense kind of playing and holding the weight while the offense has kind of fought to come along a little bit? Just their growth week to week, kind of putting things together, and then kind of break out with the huge game, turnovers, sacks. Just what's their weekly mentality been as they prepare?
If you think about that side of the ball, there is some veteran presence there. There's some guys that have been a part of the program for a while. And look, these guys there's crossover relationships between the offense and the defense. And I think when our team is at its best, they're complementary. They're interacting throughout the game, throughout the week. We work against each other. I think it's important that we challenge each other. And I would say that defensive leadership has challenged, hey, look, we got to pick it up on offense, And, we watch all this tape together now. I do a summary of the game. It's usually about 40 plays. So they get to see the mistakes. They get to see the detail and the undisciplined play, the fundamental issues, the decision-making. So I think in general there's accountability there, and I think that's helped our team.
Billy, it's a line of scrimmage league, and tonight you guys dominated on both lines of scrimmage. They didn't sack DJ a single time. You run the ball well, and your rookies there on the defensive line played like McLeod played really, really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. In general, we knew. Look, every week in this league, that's in this league, that's the challenge. And we played. I mean, LSU and Miami are outstanding teams, you know. So we played two of the better teams in the country already. And South Florida obviously has played well given their schedule. So I think in general we know what we're capable of. We know who we are. We know what we stand for in the locker room. We know what we're capable of. And it's healthy for that group to gain some confidence and see that they're capable of that. We're going to need to continue to play well in the line of scrimmage to beat the teams that are on the schedule the rest of the way.
Coach, you mentioned you were humbled by the guys in the locker room. What do you think it is about your guys, your staff, that, you know, when your backs are against the wall like last year, like this year, that you guys come out and fighting?
Yeah, I think it's more of a big picture program, organizational philosophy, you know, in terms of what we want our program to be about, the investment in people. We teach values. We prioritize education. We run a tight ship. We don't put up with crap. They're going to do what we ask them to do. And I think they have a healthy respect, and they chose us. They chose that experience. And I think that requires a certain character from that person to sign up for that. So to me, it's a reflection of the organization as a whole in terms of what we want the program to be about. And look, we cannot connect our identity to the outcome. You know, I think it's important. Sometimes when we don't get the results we want, it's in our nature to compromise, to blame others and not be accountable, and who can be objective. And I think it's important not only for myself and our staff, but we got to be very consistent and fair. We have to define expectations for the players, and then we have to hold them accountable. And look, it's a game, right? And winning football looks a certain way, and you're going to lose if you play the way we played in the past. And I think that we got to keep it technical and show them, hey, this is how you get the result that you want. And they did that today.
Billy, the third down battle today, you guys were able to win. How satisfying was that, just coming off of Miami and the bye week, and how much emphasis you put on that?
Yeah, 7 of 11, I think, or 7 for 14, and that's with the last couple being 4-minute, you know, and having to run it and punt it. So, look, I thought DJ was sharp. I thought the staff had a really good plan, and we kept it manageable. You know, I don't know how many long yardage situations we had today. I know we had a holding penalty. We ended up throwing a screen on that one and ended up getting a big chunk back. So, yeah, you got to keep third down manageable, and that starts with good first and second down efficiency. Run the ball, good quarterback play, keep third down manageable, and when you get into the red area, you got to score. You know, so look, that was a heck of a football game. Texas has got a really good team, and the guys in blue won today.
And then I asked you this week about the success Jaden and Jacoby had last year against Texas and trying to replicate that. Jacoby's out today. Just Jaden being able to carry the load that he did today, 27 carries, and be as productive as he was.
Yeah. I'm going to give him a sponge bath tomorrow, I can tell you that. No, you got a player like that, you got to give him his opportunities, you know. I think that's our formula, you know. When we're playing at our best, the guys up front are ready to go. They're mixing it up, and we're able to be physical. And there's a cumulative effect of that, and I think that we feed off of that. So he's a marquee back, and he deserves a number of carries each week.
Billy, congratulations on the victory again. And you had the bye week. So did you look at this past week as just, you know, the prior week as just a reset on getting those 3 losses out of the way? What was the approach? And did they run basically the practices into this game the way that you wanted them to?
Yeah, no, I think we got good work done Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of the bye week. You know, I think we obviously a little bit of a struggle early. And they're hurt, man. You know, this is like you're putting the paddles on a bunch of 17 to 23-year-olds, you know, trying to get them back to life. You know, we went through that a couple weeks in a row. So got to have good people around you from a leadership standpoint to get that done. You know, and the players got to be made of the right stuff. But I told them after the date to go home for 2 days, and you got to really think about what you've experienced, what you've learned. Listen to the noise, listen to it closely, and you got to know we got to know who we are, and we'll have an opportunity to change that narrative the next time we compete. So I wanted them to move forward. When they showed up Sunday, wash it off, flush it, forget about it, and let's focus on this 1 week at a time. And that's the key, is to get this age group to, tomorrow will be a different set of challenges, right? So I think that consistency will be important. We got a good group of kids in there with some adults leading them, like some of these guys who are vets around here have done a great job leading the pack.
Billy, when DJ makes his comment and gives his guarantee 2 weeks ago after a couple really rough games, obviously it can open him up to critique social media wise, good or bad. But as a coach, what was your initial thought on that? And obviously you thought he could follow through with it, but what did that do for you as a coach, if it did anything?
Yeah, I think DJ's speaking to his teammates indirectly, in my opinion. He wanted to make sure he didn't have a chance to say that in the locker room in that moment, but I think he wanted to make sure that they heard that. And look, I think the kid, there's a sincerity to this kid in terms of he chose the University of Florida, and he's all in, and he's on a mission to do special things here, and he's committed to that. So there's a certain level of pride there. And this kid has been through the gauntlet, this offseason, all right? I mean, there'll be a book wrote about this set of circumstances. So kid's tough. He has character. And I think that he is loyal, sometimes to a fault, but he is he works like no one else. And for him, this experience, that's kind of what I've been saying to him, is look, you're going to be playing the game for a long time. And there's going to be days like this. There's going to be weeks like this. Playing in this league, playing in the next league. Every team's a good team, and you're going to have bad days, and you got to have an identity independent of the game, and that's where his faith, he can stand on that, right? Where maybe someone else who doesn't have that foundation, he has that, and I think that makes him really unique.
Billy, on the final offensive drive, the timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff, can you just take us into that play, just what happened? I think a lot of people were a little confused with Texas not having any timeouts.
Yeah, no, the clock stops because our helmet came off, right? So we wanted to get our best tackle back in the game. We wanted to talk as a group about the third down play, and that's ultimately why we did it.
And then building off of that, your defense coming back out on the field for one final drive, a sack by George. How much are you, just proud of your defense for continuing to just rise to the occasion in moments like that?
Yeah, it's a special group, man. And they're good football players, but that's the easy part. I think the leadership over there and the ability to continue to show up and do their part for the team. And look, knowing the circumstance, knowing the struggle on the other side, for them to challenge the group, for them to maintain their character, for them to continue to work. And they practice that way, man. They've got a maturity about them. I think the coaches on that staff have done a fantastic job. Ron is exceptional. He's one of the best defensive minds in the game. And these, Chapman and Mike have been around the block here and been with us. And then certainly the three new guys have added another dimension to that side of the ball. So they've been ready to play every week so far. And we talked about establishing that here, knowing that's what it takes to win a championship. We finally paired it with a good offense today.
Last one.
Yeah, just back to Arch Manning for a sec. What's just the challenge he poses? We saw his feet. We saw that one scoring drive late where it was like boom, boom, and they're in the end zone. And what did it take just to kind of perform the way you guys did against them? I mean, you guys were all over him most of the game.
Yeah, I think that, look, offensively, there's a lot of new faces over there, not just him. That's important. I mean, he's no different than any quarterback, right? I mean, you get all the blame, you get all the criticism. But in general, you saw today how talented the guy is. You know, that's the guy I remember from high school. I mean, elite arm talent, obviously very, the football IQ is there. And he's a heck of an athlete. You know, that's what I remembered in high school. And we knew going in, if we got out of our rush lanes, the guy could make us pay, and he did that. But the coverages that we play, we got to live with that sometimes. And I think that when we're doubling receivers and chasing routes, we got to make sure that we're in our spokes. We gave up a couple of scrambles where he extended the play today. But in general, he's got a bright future in front of him. You could see that today. He's going to be a special player.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you all.
Guys, we're going to have DJ at the podium. We're going to start Jaden Ball in the corner while DJ's going. Jaden, just go in that corner. He'll come to you.
Yeah, I was.
We're also going to have DJ, Devin Moore, and Dallas Wilson at the podium. That's what I heard. It's not 11 o'clock at night. You guys got plenty of time.
How we doing?
All right, guys, joined by DJ Lagway. We'll start off with Edgar right in front.
Awesome.
Yeah, hey DJ.
How we
So
doing?
so what do you think kind of came together for you? You've come in and spoken to us 2 straight games that were real struggles and stood
sir.
up there tonight. I mean, how's it feel, and what do you think kind of clicked tonight?
Man, it feels great. It's always great to get a W, you know, especially in the swamp in front of these amazing fans. But I say just our execution, you know, what we preached during the bye week and what things that we cleaned up and just our overall camaraderie together as a team and as an offensive unit. I feel like just execution, having more plays, going 11 for 11. So, yeah.
And what does Dallas Wilson add? I mean, we saw, I mean, that 55-yard touchdown, I mean, encapsulated a lot. I mean, catching it, running over guys.
Oh, man, he's a specimen, man. He's a great player to have on the field. I told him anytime you press, hey, expect the ball is coming your way. So, you know, he's just a great player to have on the team. And it's good to see him out there balling out, doing his thing.
DJ, when you go into the medical tent there, is there anything that rushes over you where it's like, oh, great, here we go again? And at the same time, for you to come out and play, arguably, best game of your career, just how relieving is that, considering everything you've been through and the bye week you just got through and all that?
Yeah, for sure. You know, if I haven't figured out enough yet, you know, God always has a plan, man. You know, and it may not always look how you want it to look, but at the end of the day, God has a plan for you. And at the end of the day, you just got to rely on Him and give it to Him, you know. So, yeah, it was just a blessing to be out there and compete with my guys. You know, I couldn't let a moment like that. We had momentum. Couldn't let a moment like that go waste. So I had to go out there and compete with my teammates and lean on my guys to make plays for me.
Congrats on the victory.
Thank you.
Coach was talking about the fact that you had the bye week, and he wanted you to actually think about what had happened in those last previous games, but when you came back last Sunday, wipe that all out, start all over again. What kind of a week of practice did you have? And, I mean, was it easy to just wipe all that out and just say, hey, starting anew?
Oh, yes, sir. It's definitely hard just to, you know, kind of wipe a hard loss away, you know, but I feel like when we're in this industry, in this game, you know, you got to always next day mentality, you know, always just focus on in the moment. And I feel like our execution during practice and just the way the coaches, they kind of switched a little things up. We had like simulated reps where it was like the 1s versus the 2s. And it was good, like competition, and it was good getting a lot more game day reps and stuff like that. So it was fun.
DJ, your offensive line today gave you a clean pocket the entire game. Would you talk about them?
Man, my offensive line played their butts off, man. I'm thankful for a great group of guys and their leader, Jake Slaughter. Man, he's an awesome, heck of a player, and I'm just thankful to be able to have a guy like him lead the group and just see those guys battle for me, it means the world to me.
You talk about seeing the passing lanes that you see with the clean pocket.
Yeah, for sure. I say, just going back into the week and just our preparation, I feel like, just seeing what the defense was doing and just kind of having, the extra time just to watch their film and just seeing how they play things, how they do things, and just being able to capitalize off things. So it was great.
DJ, a lot of people had given up on Coach Napier last year, given up on Coach Napier this year. Why do you guys keep fighting for him?
Yeah, it's not really. We're fighting for all of each other. It's us against the world. That's our mentality. And that's kind of how we approach every single day and keep our heads down and continue to work.
When it pops, it's going to be hard to stop.
Yeah.
Is that what you were referring to right there? Does it feel like it?
Yes, sir, for sure. We got a little momentum. We got to continue to work hard. Next week is a whole new challenge. We got to build forward from that and just continue to work hard.
And then Coach said he urged you guys to listen to the noise during the bye week. Did you listen to it, and what did you take away from some of the noise that was out there?
Yeah, honestly, I never really listened to the noise or pay attention to the noise. I kind of my confidence and my set, how I believe in myself, is in the Lord. And at the end of the day, that's all I play for the Lord. And I feel like just having a group of guys around me to make plays, Jaden Ball running the ball, doing his thing, even Duke getting in there making some plays, so it's just great to have a great group of guys around me, receivers. You have Vernell Brown making some plays, Dallas Wilson, and et cetera, man. It's just great to have great players around you to be able to just dish the ball out and watch them go.
Coach talked about this being a glimpse of the team he thought you could be at the beginning of the season. It's one thing to know what you're capable of, but to see it put together in all three phases, what does that do for the locker room's mentality moving forward?
Oh, it's great. It's still a lot of things we got to clean up, especially offensively. At the end of the game, we got to be able to finish it a little more stronger than that. But I'll definitely say it's just great to play good football, and just being able to play complementary football. That's kind of the thing that we've been preaching and harping on, since, September and stuff like that. But it's just great to go out there and get a W against a good team.
What were you seeing from Texas defense that maybe allowed you to try to stretch the field a little bit more outside of the recent weeks? Were they giving you any looks that you just felt comfortable with, or something you had seen on film that you thought you could take advantage of?
Yeah, just watching Texas's film, they give a lot of underneath stuff. So early on, just taking what they're giving us, giving some early completions to get our confidence going, and then eventually they'll start creeping up, and they did a little bit, and we got over top of them. So, yeah.
Coach said you battled through something with your leg. What happened?
Yeah, just something that happened during a play. Nothing too crazy. I've been here before, been in this situation, so just got to get better and continue to work.
Good to go, though? You feel good?
Yes, sir, I feel good.
And, I think your longest completion against FBS team, not LIU, was 22 yards or something coming in today. It wasn't much. And you had a couple 50-somethings today. What does that do for the offense, for you, your confidence, just kind of getting that aspect rolling?
Oh, it's great, just being able to take what the defense is giving me, and just doing that early on. And our biggest thing, like this week, was starting fast, and I feel like we started off very fast. And I feel like we got on to them pretty quick and early, and I feel like that was led to the success.
You didn't get to play in this game against Texas last year with injury. You said you came into this week with a chip on your shoulder. How rewarding is it to get a win against your in-state team?
Oh man, it's awesome. It's a blessing. Anytime you can get a win against a top 10 team, and especially an SEC opponent, it's great. But especially letting it be a team, Texas, and I know a lot of guys on the team, so I get a little bragging rights, so. But it's just great, to be able to go out there and compete with some guys that I've competed against in high school, and just seeing play, all the way through middle school, high school, et cetera. So yeah.
DJ, what was that process like? Just building the chemistry with Dallas during the offseason, considering you guys were both dealing with injuries.
Yeah.
And then did you expect him to just make that sort of impact, as soon as he stepped on the field?
Oh, yeah, yes, sir, for sure. I definitely expected him, But honestly, like crazy enough, like we really did. Like when I was in, he was out, So we really had a good 2 weeks of just to work on our connection, and I feel like it paid off, and I'm excited to see where this connection continue to go. So, yeah.
Last one.
DJ, you delivered on your guarantee that you made a couple weeks ago. What's that kind of mean for you? And I know you said you don't listen to the noise, but a lot of people kind of compared it to Tebow's from a few years ago. So just kind of talk about that.
Yeah, you know, I don't. Yeah, it's just about the work with us, man. You know, I kind of demanded that from the guys, you know, early on, especially during the bye week, having the time just to self-reflect, not to focus on our opponent, and just kind of focus on us. I feel like it was a good time for that, and yeah, you know, we're still trying to keep this thing going. We still got a lot of things we got to clean up offensively, defensively, and special teams. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir. Yep, go Gators.
We got Devin Moore for you.
Would you just think of the level of physicality that you guys played with tonight? I mean, it seemed right from the start, the offense set the tone, the defense. You guys seem to really play. I mean, it's as physical as you've been all season.
Yeah, this was probably the most complimentary football game we played this season. And, you know, in practice, we've been stressing that. We knew as a team, you know, if we put it all together, we'll be dangerous, and that's kind of what happened tonight.
You've seen Dallas Wilson since he got on campus. I mean, tonight was a breakout performance. What just stands out about him and his ability to kind of like handle the spotlight and thrive?
Oh, yeah, that wasn't no surprise to me. Since day one, he stepped on campus. You know, he was a guy. You know, just covering him in practice, he making incredible catches. You know, going against him one-on-one, you feel me? It's a fight for me. It's a battle. You know, I got to bring it every day. So just seeing him finally get the opportunity, getting healthy and everything, and go out there, it wasn't a surprise. It wasn't a surprise, but, you know, he had a great game for sure.
Devin, it looked like the DBs were very active as far as blitzing from the outside. I mean, you got a sack. Sharif was in the backfield. How much of that was maybe you guys wanting to do that more, or just game planning for Texas, and how comfortable are you guys in that role?
Yeah, when you got DB pressure, you know, it brings a different element to your defense. You know, that's something that opposing offenses have to prepare for. So, you know, just adding that to the arsenal of our playbook, you know, it helps a lot, creating different looks for the quarterback. You don't know if pressure's coming from here or there. So, you know, it's something we definitely want to keep in the playbook.
And how good did that sack feel?
Oh, yeah, my first one, man, I had to, you know, I gotta go to Coach Chapman and work on my pass rush moves, but it definitely felt good.
Yeah, Devin, second year in a row where you guys have kind of rallied around, you know, the coaching staff and so forth and picked up a big win for him. Just what does it mean in terms of, you know, having this kind of performance and what makes this team kind of, you know, rally around the coaches when there's a lot of adversity?
For sure. One word I describe this team is muddy. You know, muddy and gritty. No matter what happens, you know, we're going to go to work on Sunday after the game and get it right. You know, and we have 100% and 10% trust in Coach Napier that he's going to put us in the right positions to make plays.
Earlier this week, Coach Napier challenged this fan base to create as hostile of an environment as they possibly could. Obviously, Texas had 6 pre-snap penalties. What does it say about this fan base to rally behind you guys, even when maybe the season's not off to the best start?
Yeah, pure loyalty. You know, as players, we have pure gratitude, and coaches, pure gratitude for this fan base, staying loyal, you know, showing up, making the Swamp one of the hardest places to play in, and, you know, that had a big effect on the game.
So many young guys on the D-line who held their own against a veteran offensive line. Talk about that, please.
Yeah, you know, them young guys are straight dogs. I see them in practice every day, and, you know, Coach Chapman, he gets some guys riled up, you know, before games, during practice. You know, just being able to sit outside and, you know, look at them, put the work in, and they show up on the field, you know, it's a great feeling to see.
And for you, a sack and a pick all in the same game?
Yeah, you know, like I said, I got to go work on my pass rush moves with Coach Chapman, you know, get in with those young D linemen and try and learn something.
Yeah, congrats on the win, Devin. I thought that in the first half kind of set the tone for your offense because they were playing a great game of ball control. How refreshed was this defense, and how different was it compared to previous weeks? I mean, the offense pretty much kept you off the field, kept you fresh, didn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely amazing. You know, just having some time just to take a breather and things of that nature. But you know, as a defense, we stress. You know, no matter what situation we go into, you know, we got guys on defense, headhunters. So, no matter where we at, what time of day it is, what situation we're in, we got to be ready. And the same goes for offense.
Devin, what did you just see on the interception, and how did it feel for the secondary to come up with those plays today?
Yeah, so on the interception, I seen the off the ball tight end. He went back, so I had weaved inside, and he was trying to sell me on the post. And as soon as he broke, I speed turned. And then it's just second nature. You got to go get the ball when it's in the air.
And that was coming right after a sack. Just what does it mean for you to make plays like that in a game like this, especially given everything you've been through?
Yeah, it means everything. Just being able to be out there with my guys and celebrate when we make plays. It's priceless. You know what I'm saying? Especially after all the injuries and everything, just seeing young guys make plays, old guys make plays. It's a great feeling.
Real quick as well, we have Tyreek South available in the corner right there. Go to Edgar, right in front of you.
That was your first. That was your first career sack here at Florida. Yeah. Just how did it feel to get that one?
Yeah, it felt amazing. I was very hyped after it. But like I said, I'm not content with my pass rush moves. That's something I got to work on and go to Coach Chapman about, man.
Can you remember the last time you got a sack in high school? Yeah,
I don't think I ever got one. Yeah.
This your first one ever?
First one ever, and probably since Pop Warner.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, just how much for this pass rush? How meaningful is it to get that going? After the first couple of weeks, you guys just weren't having the results that you were looking for. How much can this kind of propel the unit forward?
Yeah, for sure. When the D-line takes over the game like they did today, it makes our job as DBs easier. So, it's a great addition to the game for sure.
Yeah, Arch Manning, what were your impressions? I mean, you guys got the better of him, 4 sacks, 2 picks, but he also ran, was it 7? 6? Okay, you got a couple at the end I missed. But, yeah, just what were your impressions of him, though? His ability to scramble. There was that one drive late where it was boom, boom, got him in the end zone. I mean, he showed something, too.
For sure, yeah. Good quarterback, like you said, dual threat. So when you think you got him, you don't got him. And he can roll out, make plays. Being able to plaster is very important when facing a quarterback like him. And, like that late stretch you said, him not getting down, him just coming out there drive after drive and trying to make plays happen.
Obviously, Aaron last week and Dijon both went down with injuries. Just how important was it to get this one out of the way, to know that you guys can play without them, and then some of the younger dudes to step up today?
For sure, yeah, it was very important. And, I told those 2 guys in the huddle before the game, I said, we got something more to play for. This ain't about us no more. Those guys sacrificed blood, sweat, and tears, and the season was taken away from them like that. So, we carrying that chip on our shoulder and playing for those guys for sure.
You got insane cover skills, but you cover him on a daily. Like, I know you touched on it, but like, how, of all the guys you've lined up against, how difficult is that beast over there?
Yeah, so he got sneaky speed, but he also had, he's a big body. So, those 50-50 balls, they more like 30-70 if you're not in good position. So just being able to stay in good position, and he can snap it down, and, very versatile player and receiver.
Who wins more?
I don't know. That's something for him to decide, you know what I'm saying? I say 50-50.
I'm messing with you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
See you, man. Thanks for coming in.
Guys, we do have Tyreek South in the corner as well.
No, man. It's out.
How y'all doing? It's my first time doing this.
Joined by Dallas Wilson. We'll start off with Edgar right in front of you.
Yeah, hey, Dallas. What's it mean to kind of get back on the field and just kind of rise to the occasion in the spotlight like this with so many expectations for you?
It meant everything. Like you said, the expectations. It wasn't really a big deal for me. I had all my brothers around me in the room. Shout out to all the receivers. I had Lag pushing me on. I had all the coaches. It's just like a good belief. Like everybody believed in everybody, so it was good coming out there with all the guys.
And the 55-yard touchdown, just can you take us through that one a little bit? I mean, it kind of encapsulated a lot of your skills, and including running over a guy at the goal line to end it.
Yeah, that was a crazy play, actually. I won off the line, off my release with the corner. Corner had fell to the floor. Lag had threw the ball up to me, caught it. And after that, I just let my talent take over, really. It was just on from there.
When you flipped over to Florida in January, could you imagine at that time that you would have set game, 5 different team records within the first 2 times you'd put on a uniform?
Nah, that's unbelievable. I just let God handle that. It was really just great being out there and just playing with my team.
And how relieving, I guess, is it for you to come out and do this after the injury, the setback? You have all that hype going throughout the offseason. You have the setback in August for you to come out and do this tonight.
Yeah, I got banged up a little bit, but I just know if I kept being motivated and kept going, everything would be good.
How frustrating to sit there and watch 4 games knowing what you're capable of doing and then having that chance to, relieving is it to finally have that chance to get out there and show it?
As a team, I know what we can do. Like, knowing what you can do as a team is unbelievable. So we just stuck to the plan and kept coming week after week after week. And that bye week really just gave us a chance to really bond together as a team and just go out there and play our best ball.
Talk about your self-confidence. You're really rare, how confident you are. Where does it come from?
I say from my mother. My mom had passed. Her name Lisa, but I say my mother. Like, she was very confident. She believed she could do anything in the world, and I guess that just carried on to me.
You said the defender fell down. Did you have something to do with that, like the moves, or did you push him to the ground a little bit?
Billy Gonzalez teaches us some release moves, so I had worked one of the moves at the line, and it had worked.
And then how good was the toe touch catch on the sideline? I think it was an 18-yarder right before your 13-yard touchdown. How good a catch was that, or was that typical, normal?
We practice every day. We practice those drills every day with Billy Gonzalez, so it was really good. Like, just that's like a routine catch for us receivers.
With this receiving room fully healthy now, does this become one of the most potent pass offenses in the country, you think?
Yeah, we got a very electric offense. It's kind of hard when you got Lagway back there. Like, he's just such a great quarterback, so we know when he throws the ball, we just make plays on the ball, and then it's on from there.
Just how frustrating was it for you to be sidelined while Florida's offense was kind of just struggling a little bit, unable to get going? Was it tough for you?
Nah, it wasn't frustrating at all because, again, like I said, I knew what we can do as a team, so just believing in the team and just coming in week after week and seeing what they put in on the field, like, I know that the sky was the limit for us. So.
And you only had 2 weeks of practice time with DJ. Just what did you guys do to build chemistry and build a rapport when you couldn't be out there on the practice field?
2 weeks. I've been catching the ball with DJ, but it was really.
He said
good.
2 weeks. He said 2 weeks of full practice with you.
Yeah, man. But yeah, 2 weeks of full practice with Lag was great, man. Just building that connection up and building that connection again was great. Seeing my boy out there, and then it was just playing as a team after that.
That was coming in. A lot of the struggle was deep downfield. You know, we talked about it a little bit with Napier getting the ball deep. That was a big thing with Lagway last year. And then you come in and you guys explode downfield. You know, you have more catches downfield than you've had all year. Is that just something that you can transform this offense with, you know, being that deep threat?
It's more than me out there, though. We got some great guys. We got Vernell, J. Michael Sturdivant, Eugene Wilson. Those guys really opened up the field for me out there today, and it was really great playing beside them guys.
And then talking more about Vernell and you, freshman duo, you know, what's the limit? Sky's the limit. And, you know, did you kind of imagine that coming in when you guys talked about committing here and playing here?
Yeah, man, that boy Vernell is electric, man. I tell him every day, we be going back and forth today, some days in practice, but yeah, he's electric. But we got some other great freshmen, Jeremiah McLeod, Jaden Woods. Those guys are great.
What do you think of his 60? I was going to ask you about that. His 60-yard catch, his adjustment on the ball, beating the DB to it.
That was a great catch. When I seen the ball in the air, I knew VP had it, but him just making that great play and then staying up after he caught the ball was electric.
Mm-hmm. So Billy Napier, what do you think it is about him that leads the players to kind of rally around him? I mean, you guys are 1-3 coming in against Texas. It's like a lot of stuff's being said outside. You guys from the jump were playing at a higher level than you had all season.
Yeah, Coach Napier always tell us block out the outside noise. So it's like just coming in day after day and then being motivated and having that belief as a team. So just being behind him, we knew we could do it. It was just putting it on the field. So that was all.
Is there something about him, though, just the way he treats you guys or the relationships he and the coaches have that causes you guys to kind of be able to rise to the occasion for them?
Yeah, Coach Napier, to me, I always say Coach Napier to me is like another dad, man. Coach Napier is a great guy, man. I just love being around him, love seeing him coach out there, and love seeing him just like let us make plays and just be us out there.
On that note, when we were asking about you before the season, Coach said that you were a problem. a good problem and that you were going to be a major factor this year. You get back this week and he starts you first week back. What does his belief in you mean to you?
I think it just started when we all got here as freshmen. Cause when I first got here, I had a rough start. I was tired a lot, but just him just pushing us forward and him just pushing me forward just kept me going and everything. And he seen my progress, seen my growth as a team, as all freshmen, and we grew together. And I guess he believed he trusted us.
When you got back during the bye and this past week, like, was he telling you, like, I'm about to feed you, or
Nah,
did you know you?
Nah, Coach Nate ain't tell me nothing like that. But just putting in the work on the field and just executing plays and making plays, that's probably what led up to it.
And then you mentioned the 55-yard touchdown, but your first career touchdown, when you got in the end zone, just what was that moment and feeling like for you, given everything you've been through?
I know a lot of guys would ask me on the sideline, like, how does it feel? I'm like, it feels regular. Like, I'm like, I really don't know how I'm supposed to feel. Like, I'm like, let's win the game first, guys. Let's win the game first. But, yeah, it felt good.
All right, you scored a lot of touchdowns, so it's nothing to you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.